I thank you, Mr. Minister, and I pass the floor to His Excellency Mr. Ruslanbek Davletov, Minister of Justice of Uzbekistan. You have the floor, sir.
Dear Mr. President of the Human Rights Council, dear UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to be here with you all today. And in my speech, I'd like to highlight some very important and sweeping processes which have taken place in Uzbekistan recently, that is, for the last year. Particularly, 2017 was very productive for Uzbekistan in terms of international cooperation, particularly and including on matters of human rights. Last year, Uzbekistan welcomed eminent representatives of the international community, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, and the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Zeid Ra'ad al-Hussein. It is notable that the Special Rapporteur on Freedom of Religion visited Uzbekistan for the first time in 15 years. Moreover, the international NGOs such as Human Rights Watch also paid a couple of visits to Uzbekistan after many years of interruption. The visit of the UN High Commissioner resulted in the adoption of the action plan, which includes 90 important events directed at enhancing the protection of human rights and freedoms. By the initiative of the President of Uzbekistan in November last year, in conjunction with the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Uzbekistan is planning to hold an international event, namely the Asian Forum on Human Rights in Samarkand, commemorating the 17th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Apart from the international cooperation, Uzbekistan has genuinely pursued the solution of human rights issues independently using domestic tools. The reforms which have been carried out recently can be considered historical and a breakthrough for Uzbekistan. Last year, having recognized the existence of serious challenges and problems in the modern Uzbek society, we adopted a 5-year strategy action where we identified major tasks such as public governance, ensuring rule of law, ensuring independence of the justice, liberalizing the economy, social protection, and open and friendly foreign policy, providing religious tolerance and inter-ethnic harmony. Since the adoption of the strategy, more than 800 laws and regulations were introduced. First, one of the most important changes in Uzbek public policy is that the special reception offices under the head of the state were opened for filing complaints, petitions and recommendations in all regions and districts, rural areas, 200 of them all over the country. Also, newly established online system allowed 1.6 million people to refer their problems and issues directly to the President. The uniqueness of this system is that all the applications and complaints are strongly controlled by the President's administration. Meanwhile, the state bodies became more accountable directly to the people, and the slogan, "The people must not serve the government bodies, rather the government bodies must serve the people," has become a new public movement to make government authorities work more effectively. This system is a new phenomenon in Uzbekistan, and it has changed our society and earned trust among people. Mass media of Uzbekistan have also seen dramatic changes. People's trust in the local TV channels increased by 3 times, and the number of social network users increased by 5 times for the last year. People now actively communicate with state bodies and civil servants in social networks and demand their rights. Since corruption is causing tremendous problems for the national development, Uzbek government has started openly fighting it at all levels. And the new leadership of Uzbekistan has shown strong political will in this matter and decisively introduced new measures, including in state procurements, by adopting a special law and special action plan. Another sphere that saw a significant reform is the judicial system. Main emphasis put on ensuring the real independence of the judiciary, both structural and procedural. I can point some substantial moments. For instance, for the first time, to improve access to justice, new district-level economic courts have been introduced with 200 more judges. Completely new administrative courts have been created with 350 judges all over the country for hearing the cases against the state bodies. And now, after serving a 5-year term, judges may be appointed for a 10-year term and then lifetime. We abolished one of the old Soviet heritage in the criminal law, that is the possibility to return the criminal case by cause for additional investigation if there was not enough evidence to convict the defendants, which of course was very unfair. This measure resulted in the increase of independence of the judiciary and the responsibility of the investigative authorities. Let us look at numbers. While in the last 5 years only 7% were acquitted, in 2017 court issued already more than 200 acquittals. And in addition, preliminary investigative bodies have terminated more than 3,500 criminal cases on rehabilitating grounds. It was the first time in Uzbekistan's history when last year a decree was issued to pardon 2,700 prisoners, including many who committed religious crimes. Also, for the first time, acknowledging the problem in ensuring due process, we took decisive measures to prohibit illegal evidence, including obtained by torture, psychological and physical pressure, and other cruel and inhuman treatment. We changed the definition of torture-related crimes and their types to fit the international standards. Starting from this year, investigators are obliged to use video recording during all the main investigative actions, including testimonies. In addition, pretrial detention centers must install video surveillance equipment. Also, statute is drafted to clarify and put the boundaries of the security service. Moreover, Uzbekistan introduced a visa-free travel for 7 countries and simplified visa procedure for 39 countries. In the sphere of foreign policy, in last year alone, 21 high-level visits were organized, meetings were held with leaders and the representatives of more than 60 states and international organizations. As a result, more than 400 agreements have been concluded and trade and investment contracts have been signed totaling $60 billion. The main priority of Uzbekistan foreign policy is Central Asia. As a result of this approach, an absolutely new political atmosphere has been created in our region. Relations based on mutual trust and friendship are being strengthened. I would like to emphasize a very important reform which is being carried out now. That is the concept of administrative reforms aimed at modernizing the state regulation and effective functioning of the public bodies. It is an important step towards building transparent, effective, accountable and inclusive institutions at all levels and will result in enhancing the competitiveness of our country. I would like to note that these dramatic changes create a strong and reliable foundation for securing civil society and increasing trust of people to the public bodies, as well as mutually beneficial cooperation between Uzbekistan and its international partners. Although there are more reforms that have been implemented, these are in short what we have been through lately, and apparently there is still very much work to do, and we count on our partners to overcome all these challenges together. And dear friends, today on behalf of Uzbek delegation, I'm glad to announce that we are seeking the membership in the Human Rights Council for the upcoming period of 2021-2023. The impressive path that we have been through lately, the sincere and genuine commitment of the government to deliver best policies for its own citizens, convinced us to become an active player in the international community to forward fundamental human values further. Thank you for your attention.